Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the MPP Insider, your source for all the latest news in the marijuana policy reform movement. I'm Mike Mino. On today's episode, we're going to give you the latest update of marijuana in the news. We're going to tell you about the latest victim of marijuana prohibition, and we're also going to take a look at marijuana by the numbers. First up in the news. The first story we're going to talk about today is actually a major development in the case of Joe Casillas. Many of you will remember from a few episodes back, Joe was the Walmart worker who was wrongfully fired from a Battle Creek, Michigan Walmart because he tested positive for marijuana. Joe is actually a legal medical marijuana patient in Michigan. He uses marijuana to treat the effects of sinus cancer and an inoperable brain tumor. Well, last week in a major development, the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, filed a lawsuit against Walmart on behalf of Joe, trying to collect damages for his wrongful termination. Joe is married with 2 children and has been living on unemployment since his wrongful firing. We're also going to talk a little bit about New York, where we discussed last episode. MPP and our allies, New York Patients First, are still pushing hard for the New York legislature to pass a medical marijuana bill this year. The legislature is currently out of session, but they will be returning in the summer and the fall. And there was a really promising development a few weeks ago when famous television show host and multiple sclerosis patient Montel Williams paid a trip to Albany to press lawmakers directly. He had a great press conference out there with a lot of healthy media attention, and we're trying to get as many commitments from lawmakers as possible so that New York can become the 15th state to protect medical marijuana patients from arrest. Also, 2 quick updates on initiatives out west. In Washington, a proposed ballot initiative that would legalize marijuana in Washington state failed to collect enough signatures by a crucial deadline. But another initiative in Oregon that would add dispensaries to that state's medical marijuana law seems like it may qualify for the ballot. In fact, it seems very likely. So stay tuned for that. Another interesting story come November. Next up, we're going to talk about victims of prohibition. This week's victim is Rodolfo Torre, who is the leading candidate for governor in the Mexican border state of Tamaulipas. A few weeks ago, Mr. Torre was assassinated by drug gangs in Mexico in the highest profile assassination in that country since President Felipe Calderon declared his war on the cartels in late 2006. It's another startling reminder that America's prohibition on marijuana has victims beyond our own borders. These Mexican drug cartels are selling marijuana in the United States and getting rich off it, allowing them to commit atrocious acts of violence across the border. Since 2006, more than 23,000 Mexicans have died in drug-related violence. Next up, we're going to take a look at marijuana by the numbers. This week's number, 332%. That's how much higher the marijuana arrest rate is for blacks when compared to whites in Los Angeles County, according to a new study put out by our allies at the Drug Policy Alliance. That study showed enormous racial disparities in marijuana arrests throughout California, with blacks being arrested 2, 3, and even 4 times as often than whites, even though on average, whites are more likely to use marijuana. Once again, another sign of the terrible side effects of marijuana prohibition and another reason why we need to change these laws. Once again, thanks for watching the MPP Insider. I am Mike Mino, and we'll catch you next time.